Ramesh had always trusted Bantu. Bantu wasn't just a monkey, he was family. From the day Ramesh found him as a tiny, shivering baby in the jungle, they had been inseparable. In their quiet little village, they were famous. Bantu helped him fetch water, stole mangoes from the neighbor's tree, and even danced at festivals. People laughed. People loved them. But no one knew what Ramesh knew. No one knew that Bantu was different. Smarter. Too smart. And on one fateful night, under the eerie glow of the full moon, Ramesh realized the shocking truth. Bantu wasn't just a monkey. He was something else. And that night, Ramesh had to make a choice: kill Bantu or be killed. The Man and His Monkey. Chapter 1: The Bond. Ramesh had lived in the village all his life. A simple man, he worked as a potter, shaping clay into beautiful vessels. He had no wife, no children, just Bantu. Bantu was more than a pet. He understood things. Not just simple tricks like clapping hands or jumping through hoops. He knew when Ramesh was sad. He would bring him fruits, sit beside him, pat his back with his tiny hands. He knew when Ramesh was angry. He would keep his distance, his large brown eyes watching carefully. And, somehow, he understood words. Not just simple commands like sit or come. Full sentences. Conversations. Bantu, I'm tired, Ramesh would sigh after a long day. And Bantu would nod, fetch a cool banana leaf, and fan him. At first, Ramesh thought it was just a coincidence. A trick of the mind. But then, things got strange. Chapter 2: The Warning. One evening, Ramesh sat outside his hut, staring at the sunset. Bantu was perched on the roof, peeling a mango. Suddenly, Bantu froze. His ears twitched. His tail stiffened. Then, he turned his head, slowly, toward the jungle. His black eyes narrowed. His lips curled, revealing sharp teeth. Ramesh had never seen him like that. What is it, Bantu? He asked. Bantu didn't move. Didn't blink. And then, he whispered. Go inside. Ramesh's heart stopped. A cold shiver ran down his spine. Bantu, what did you say? The monkey didn't answer. He just jumped down, grabbed Ramesh's hand with his tiny fingers, and pulled him inside the hut. Ramesh obeyed. And that night, he heard something outside his window. A low growl. A shadow moving in the dark. Something was watching them. Chapter 3: The Vanishing People. The next morning, the village was in chaos. Someone had disappeared. First, it was the old farmer, Hariran. Gone. Vanished. No trace. Then, 2 nights later, a woman. No footprints. No signs of struggle. The villagers whispered about ghosts. About jungle spirits. But Ramesh saw the way Bantu watched the jungle. The way he bared his teeth whenever he looked toward the trees. And then, on the 3rd night, Ramesh woke up to find Bantu missing. The door to the hut was open. His heart pounded. He grabbed a torch and ran into the jungle. Bantu. Bantu. He called. Silence. Then a rustle. Ramesh swung his torch around. The light caught something. Eyes. Dozens of them. Shining in the dark. Watching. And then, Bantu stepped forward. But something was wrong. His posture. His expression. He wasn't scared. He wasn't lost. He was leading them. Chapter 4: The Monkey King. Bantu. Ramesh whispered. The monkey just tilted his head. Then, he smiled. Not like an animal. Like a man. Like someone who knew. And behind him, the eyes in the dark moved closer. Ramesh staggered back. What is this? What's happening? Bantu blinked. Then, he spoke. They are hungry. Ramesh's torch shook in his hands. No, this isn't real. You're just a monkey. This isn't. Run, Ramesh. His blood turned to ice. Bantu took a step forward. Behind him, the shadows moved. A dozen figures, monkeys, but not monkeys. Bigger. Stronger. And smiling. Ramesh turned and ran. Chapter 5, The Last Choice. He didn't stop running until he reached his hut. He slammed the door shut. His breath came in ragged gusts. His hands shook as he grabbed the axe by the fireplace. Outside, the jungle was silent. Too silent. And then, footsteps. Not human. Soft. Light. Tiny hands scratching the door. And Bantu's voice. "Let me in, Ramesh." Ramesh gripped the axe tighter. "Bantu, please." His voice broke. Silence. Then, laughter. Slow. Gentle. And then, whispers. 100 voices speaking at once. Not human. Not animal. Something in between. "We have always been here." Ramesh's breath caught. "You were never alone." A single claw slipped through the gap in the door. Long, sharp. Not a monkey's. And then, bang. The door burst open. The last thing Ramesh saw was Bantu's smiling face. The last thing he heard was his own scream. And then, silence. Epilogue: The New Villager. A week later, the village went back to normal. People forgot about Ramesh. Forgot about Bantu. Except for one thing. A new monkey had arrived in the village. A small one. Quiet. Watching. Waiting. And sometimes, at night, if you listened closely, you could hear it whispering, "Ramesh,